What's up, David?
Hey, Gobi, good. What's going on?
All is well, man. All is well. I sort of feel like I've come through the darkness, emotional darkness of the last few weeks. So I'm feeling a little lighter, a little more optimistic, and a little more on the frequency that I want to be on.
Cool. How were the past 2 weeks for you?
Well, it's funny. I never normally would have put a lot of stock in concepts like lunar eclipses and the alignment of stars. But I will tell you this: whenever there's a full moon, funny enough, I get stomach aches. So there's something to it all. But I'll tell you, the last 2 weeks, um, I had some health issues that I was dealing with. I left my wife and kid in Europe and came back, so I'm on my own here in LA. Uh, but I was on an emotional roller coaster last week. I mean, I was a fucking mess, and I'm so grateful that I kind of came through it. And what I sort of kept trying to remind myself is, it's funny. Just and again, we haven't had our ayahuasca conversation yet, and I think maybe that
Not
should be our
yet.
next one. But one thing that kept coming to me is, whatever comes is supposed to come, so just let it come and go. So I kept trying to breathe and sort of allow myself to feel whatever fear or anxiety I was feeling, and not judge it or sort of define myself by it, but to really just kind of let it come and go. So that was a very useful tool to me.
Cool. Yeah, I think everybody's been going through some strong emotions recently with the who knows if it's the lunar eclipse or whatever else, but there's definitely been some intense energy up in the air for a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people online and in person that reported similar things. I've had my share as well. Just as I'm about, to launch my coaching website, of course, the last few layers of doubt, me going from tech CEO to coach without any specific diplomas, kept running into things, articles online that shut down the coaching industry with all these unqualified individuals without diplomas, which obviously is me. I don't have any specific coaching education, not anything formal at least, other than having gone through coaching myself and therapy. So I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of stuff raising. I almost had a car accident with a motorbike with a guy that was driving like crazy, but I switched lanes without really looking in the mirror. So the guy stopped in front of me, screamed at me, and it was like shame, all over the place. I wasn't even angry. I mean, it was both our faults, but I didn't get angry. I just got, yeah, just full of shame. So that came up, all sorts of pointers with like things that, I tend to do that aren't necessarily, nice behaviors for other people, like interrupting or imposing myself on others. I tend to do that. So all of that's been thrown at me, and it's been, yeah, mostly for me, it's been about shame and fear. And so just this morning, I was watching this TED Talk that says that whenever an unpleasant sensation comes up, whether it's sadness, humiliation, fear, whatever, there's a chemical release in the brain, and it gets released, and then it gets absorbed by the body, and it manifests through physical sensation. So it could be, sometimes you can feel like a punch in the stomach, or it could be solar plexus. And it was interesting that the lady, she's a doctor, and she was saying that usually any, except for things like grief, where you're gonna have waves of waves, but any of those sensations like a wave. And it comes and goes in about 60 to 90 seconds. And the key to processing those emotions is to be present with them, not try to distract, not turn on the TV, call someone, get on Facebook or whatever. Just for 60 to 90 seconds, just be there,
Yeah.
be fully there with that sensation, however unpleasant it is. And usually within 60 to 90 seconds, it will resorb, kind of like a wave that, goes back away from the beach. And if it comes back, then another wave, then same thing, and that's the key to it is essentially not resisting those things, because that's when they get bottled up and create all sorts of maybe mental or even physical health issues.
I like that. I'm gonna try that. I think the 60 to 90 second uh, guide is a good thing. It sort of reminds me of when I was trying to quit cigarettes. They were saying uh, uh, nicotine cravings only last 3 minutes. So you just have to breathe through 3 minutes and the craving will go away, which sort of helped me when I quit smoking. But I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of allowing, it's difficult not to attach meaning to negative emotions, because I think we define ourselves based on what we feel, but what we feel is also somehow related to everything we've ever felt in our lives. And I think that's where the challenge is, because we're not taught how to deal with our emotions. Our parents never normally taught us how to properly deal with our emotions. Their parents never taught them, and it's sort of a cycle. So it's kind of cool to be exposed to these new modalities and techniques that sort of give us an opportunity to sort of be a little more new age in the approach. And it's sort of like a softer approach as well. It's like, don't be so fucking tough on yourself, just breathe a little bit, just chillax a little bit, and just, maintain, I sort of feel like when I get a little worked up, I haven't gotten back into my meditation the way I want to, but even when I go into the backyard and just put my feet on the grass and look at the trees and the birds flying around, that just brings I've got some wind chimes out there, so when those play a little bit, all of a sudden I calm down a little bit. So it's like, just allowing.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the resistance is really what perpetuates the negative thoughts and everything. And one other thing she says is it's important to stop labeling, those sensations as negative,
Yeah.
and instead call them unpleasant or uncomfortable, because fear, shame, guilt, whatever. They're not negative in and of themselves. They're unpleasant, they're unpleasant sensations, but there's nothing negative about them. And she says there's actually a lot of positive stuff about them, because when you allow yourself to feel them, usually you come out the other side with, maybe not immediately, but there's some sort of integration process that happens, and there's actually some gems of knowledge and understanding about yourself in there, and maybe seeing, understanding where it came from and what you can do about it, to make your life even better than it is. So there's actually you can use them for further exploration.
Cool. Well, look, I think that should be our whole session today.
I think that's good.
All right?
Nice and short.
Yeah. I'll see you soon.
See you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.